Hello, and welcome to GameRomp Easy Mode, a chill, easygoing podcast where we talk about games, how we play them, etc., etc. I'm one of your hosts, Deanna, and this is...
David.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm here too.
As always.
Of course.
I would like to start off this podcast, just as a quick thing, saying that we now have our GameRomp logo stickers on our coffee page, which you can get for $2. And shipping's like $1, as long as it's like the US, but it's really cheap. So if you like listening to this, think about maybe supporting us. If you don't have money, feel free to leave comments, suggestions, ratings, etc. Thank you. So what do you want to talk about this week?
Well, you know what we didn't do?
Well, kinda.
We didn't play the game we were gonna play, but that's okay. We both downloaded it and installed it and played other stuff.
That's how far we got. Actually, I was mostly trying to do art stuff, which is kind of video game related because it's Pokemon stuff.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about that or not right now?
Let's see if I can get my prototypes off the ground first.
Alrighty. In that case, well, since you mentioned Pokemon, I can say the thing I've been sort of doing, only for like the past day or two, but...
Yeah, I think I remember seeing this.
Yeah, so I don't know why, I don't know what started it, but I kind of fallen into the rabbit hole of Pokemon fan games.
I'm going to assume it's because I've been playing Pokemon Quest.
Maybe.
Or at least getting more into Pokemon.
I don't know.
Pokemans.
But like, I think the last time I played a Pokemon game for real was Black and White. Oof. So that was ages ago. I've never played any of the 3D ones.
I mean, Black and White is sold. They already have a remake of it. And that remake is probably also sold.
Wait, they have a Black and White remake?
Yeah, don't they have Black and White too?
That's not a remake. That's like a sequel. It's like set in the same world and just advances the story.
I thought it was kind of like, you know, how Fire Red and Leaf Green stuff. Okay.
No, I think they released that like pretty much right after.
Oh shit, never mind then.
Yeah.
Shows how much I know about the games.
Yeah, it's not even a remake, a different system. It's the exact same engine with those cool little animated sprites. I really like that generation. It had the sprites and they were so expressive and they would dance around and oh man, it looks so good. I don't know, somehow.
Now, which generation is Black and White?
I think is it the 5th? I think it's the 5th because it goes.
So that would be
Ruby
like
and Sapphire is
600.
3, Diamond and Pearl, and then Black and White. I'm pretty sure it's the 5th.
So that would be about, what, 600-ish Pokemon or something?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I don't know how many older Pokemon from previous generations they put in that game, or if any. I don't know how those
I remember
games work.
For Black and White, it was kind of a big deal that it was the first time that in the main game, none of the old Pokemon would be in there. You just all new Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Because I'm wondering if, like, those sprites were so expressive because, you know, they didn't have 1,000 Pokemon to go through.
Well, yeah, maybe. Obviously, it's getting harder, and making 3D meshes is harder.
Even harder, yeah.
And then having to deal with animations. The interesting thing about Pokemon is, like, in the old games when a Pokemon would do a move, because it was so abstract and, like, it's just a 2D sprite, you don't really think too hard about, like, oh no, the Hydro Cannon isn't coming out of Blastoise's cannons, or this Pokemon isn't actually biting. Because, like, in the old game, the sprite would just jiggle a bit, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
But somehow seeing a 3D model do that kind of, like, triggers our brains to be like, this looks weird.
It kind of makes sense, though, and it's so weird, at least when you bring up the Blastoise Hydro Pump or something. Like, it has 2 cannons, and, like, it seems like it should be easy enough to move that one particular animation for just Blastoise to make sure it comes out of the cannons.
Yeah, and you could do that back in the day when there was only, like, a couple hundred, right?
But, like, even in the 3D with 1,000 Pokemon, it's just for one Pokemon.
But you would still have to be like, oh, this one Pokemon's Hydro Cannon is going to do this. And yeah, there are some Pokemon that have, like, their special moves that they have special animations for, but it just becomes a thing. It's like, we can't spend this much time. Like, think of Flamethrower out of, like, a fire Pokemon. You have to, like, go in and make sure it comes out of their mouth each time. And, like, that they're opening... It just becomes a huge logistics nightmare. I can understand why they don't bother. And, like, back in the day in the 2D games, they didn't really bother with that either. But it didn't seem like that big of a deal back then.
I guess I'm just getting pedantic, and I don't know I can understand or at least come up with the concept of a idea of
Oh my god.
of setting okay, when this attack happens and it's registered to a Blastoise or something, use this particular animation position.
Yeah.
I can think of it in code.
Yeah.
But I can't think of it in the scope of 1,000 Pokemon, so okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, it's just something else. Also, anyway, getting back on topic, as we're always fucking scrambling everywhere. You
were talking about a fan game?
Yeah. So, the fan game I decided to play, there was 2 I wanted to play, but I'm trying this one first, is called Pokemon This Gym of Mine. Well, it's basically what it sounds like. You show up to this island and their previous gym leader has left. I guess they weren't a great gym leader and the people in the town didn't really like them. And there's some local hooligans who are causing trouble, and the gym leader was just like, I don't want to deal with this, I'm lazy, or whatever the case is. I'm not exactly sure. There's a story, so I haven't really figured out what happened before yet. They're gone, you're in. The people in the town are like, oh, there's a new gym leader. Is he going to be as good as or as bad as the previous one? And a lot of them are just like, they don't want anything to deal with you at all. So anyway, when you first start the game, you basically have to decide what kind of gym leader are you going to be. And you can't go too crazy. You have to basically pick a type. So.
I was going to say, gyms so far that I'm aware of always have a type.
Yeah, you can't be like, I'm going to be a status effect gym. No, you have to be fire, water, whatever. So I chose my favorite type, which is steel.
Gasp.
And then it's okay, here's 3 starters for steel, pick one. One was this dinosaur thing from Diamond and Pearl. I don't remember the name of it. It's like a Triceratops, except with a flat head. Another one was this steel pine cone looking thing. I don't remember what generation that one's from.
Is this just grabbing from any Pokemon generation that still use sprites, I guess?
Yeah. It also has some sprites for the newer Pokemon.
Okay, because there's going to be only so many I remember. Which
I'll get into in a bit. Anyway, and the last starter for steel type was Aaron. Or Aaron? A-R-O-N. Let's just say Aaron. And it's from Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah,
and
I think I remember that one.
I really like that Pokemon, so that's the one I chose. I remember I had that in Ruby and Sapphire, and the final evolution is really cool, and it's just really good Pokemon. So I chose that. It's a steel rock type, or is it steel ground?
I guess rock would make sense.
I think it's steel rock, yeah.
If it's Aerodactyl and almost, a dinosaur.
Anyway, so the thing of this game is you're running the gym. Obviously, you have a type. You can only use that type of Pokemon in your gym, except for one exception is if a Pokemon knows it's the signature move of your gym or can learn the signature move of the gym, then as long as he knows it, you can use that Pokemon too. So, for example, if you're using, if you're in a fire gym, if the signature move is that, I don't remember what it's called, Fire Blast in the Pokemon Red, where it makes that little kanji.
Yeah.
If for some reason you could teach that to, I don't know, Chansey or whatever Pokemon, if the Pokemon can learn that, it can fight in the gym. So for now, I'm basically trying to build up a team because you only got the one starter. You can still catch other type of Pokemon to use while you're out on your adventure because it's it's not a huge world, but it's kind of open world in that you're on this big island. And there's different little sections. There's also trainers to battle. And if they battle you and you beat them, you get prestige. And your gym wants prestige. It can earn you an income. And you can even help rebuild the town. Because the town's kind of in a sorry state. I've only just started. So, I haven't had anything built. And my gym is still really low level. But the first goal is, basically you need to have at least 3 Pokemon to, start accepting gym challenges.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And I don't know if it's just because I chose Steel or it's just going to take you a while to find 3 Pokemon to begin with.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steel's not exactly one of the top used ones of Pokemon types.
I was hoping to find like a Magnemite, but no. But eventually I did find this cave, and inside that cave there was I don't remember the name of the Pokemon because it's one of the newer ones. It's the sword Pokemon.
Oh, that's literally a sword.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
sword. It's Steel Ghost.
Yeah, okay. I can see it in my mind.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it because I never played that game. But I'm like, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure that's Steel, so I caught it. That was my second Steel Pokemon. So I got Aaron, and I got this sword.
Have you found an Onyx yet? Because I know you like Steelix.
I love Onyx, and yes, I did find an Onyx. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yay.
Because
I guessed correctly.
I don't know if this is a regional variant that is in the vanilla Pokemon games, or if this is just a regional variant they made for this. But this Onyx I found was rock fire.
Huh.
It's got like this magma. You know how Onyx has that little crest on his head?
Yeah.
It's kind of got, instead of that, it's kind of got like this spout thing, and it's just like pouring out smoke, kind of like that turtle.
Yeah, okay.
From Ruby and Sapphire.
Huh,
So this Onyx is
interesting.
rock fire, which is cool, I guess, but I'm just wondering, will I be able to turn it into Steelix? Because I really like Steelix. I don't know yet.
Well, if rock can turn into steel, I'm sure adding fire is not going to make too much of a difference.
We shall see. For now, he's still just a regular Onyx.
Okay.
But I kept going around. I found some other Pokemon, like I got a Rattata, and I got like a Sentret. I got this tadpole thing from, I don't remember what generation he's from.
Does he look like a little speaker with a tail?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of his moves is like,
I don't know why it makes me think of a speaker.
one of his moves is like an echo attack, and it's like the more you use it, the more damage it does.
Yeah, it's one of those build-up things.
I got a Ghastly, and I got like a Sableye, but I couldn't find a third steel type.
Damn.
Until I ran into another Aaron. And I'm like,
So you just double up?
the thing is, though, when I looked at this Aaron, he looked different. So it must be another regional variant, because the one I have is the one from Ruby and Sapphire.
The original.
Yeah, but this one is Steel Dragon, and it's got like these little green elements on it. And what's crazy is that it knows Dragon Rage, which is
damn.
a pretty late game move.
Yeah, that seems excessive.
Like there's moves that are I don't remember the other variant of it, but there's a move that I think Magnemite learns it in another game where it's like it always does 20 damage. No matter what, it just does 20 damage. Ignores defense, all that stuff. It's pretty good early game.
Yeah.
Dragon Rage is a stronger version of that. It always does 40 damage.
Which is good, definitely in the beginning.
Yeah. Early
But
on, that's good because it's
At the end, it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. It just depends when and where you're using it. But for right now, that is ridiculously good.
You're just blasting through everything.
Yeah, and it nearly wiped out my team when I was trying to catch it.
Oh, shit.
But I caught this second Aaron, so I got 2 Aarons and a sword.
Yeah.
But the 2 Aarons are different, so we'll see. So I finally had enough Pokemon to open up my gym. You had to pick like an advisor or something, and it's like, oh, you can pick this default guy, this old guy, or this girl, and like they each have different like pros and cons. Like the default guy is kind of middle of the ground. The old guy is kind of boring but safe. The girl is kind of more like popular, but she might bring in tougher trainers.
Okay.
Cause like,
Is this like the person that stands in front of the gym?
I don't
next
really
to the
know
statues?
how they work. They're not really represented in the game very well.
They're just a stat almost.
Yeah. They show up in your gym and it's just like, you know, the little sprite. So I can't really tell. I haven't fought her, so I don't know what she really looks like. Because this is a 2D game, by the way. It kind of has the fire red, leaf green sprites.
Yeah. Do you think there's a fan game that's in 3D already? Like good 3D? Well,
I
good
don't
for
know.
Pokemon 3D.
ROM hacks, yeah, but fan games, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, so I had enough Pokemon to open up the gym, right? I was
Right.
like, okay, let's open the gym, see how this goes. Because I'm still really early in the game, I think I over-prepared, and I basically wiped the floor with everyone that walked in.
Yeah, I mean, are you getting like little Joey with his Rattata?
Some of the characters came in, like one of the was the last of like 3 level 3 Pokemon, and my dudes were like around level 15. And they were steel type, and she was bringing in like birds and stuff.
Oh god,
So,
they
like,
had no chance in hell.
Yeah. But I'm assuming later on it'll become tougher. Like the final opponent was some scientist looking dude, and his Pokemon was like level 13, 14, but he only had one. He had one high level Pokemon, and it didn't match against Steel very well, so it was really no problem. But again, this was the first day as the gym, so it was really no problem.
Do you get to decorate your gym at all?
It doesn't seem like it. I don't know if you can later on. It's a very tiny gym. Imagine your house in the starter in the beginning of a game where your mom is.
Yeah.
Imagine it being like a fourth of that.
What?
Yeah,
It's just a like broom closet?
Yeah, it's not big. I don't know if later on it becomes bigger and you can have like trainers inside.
I would hope so.
That would be cool, but for now it's literally my first day. I literally just moved here. It's basically a shed.
Yeah, no wonder they hated the past one. He didn't improve anything.
So there is that aspect of like, okay, you're running the gym, people are going to come. And it's okay to lose because, you know, you want to give out gym badges. But at the same time, you don't want to lose every time because then you're not really, you know, a gym leader, right?
Yeah, because I can't imagine, like, having 3 stale Pokemon lose to, like, 3 level 3 Pingies. You're going to be a laughing stock.
It's just, yeah, there's a prestige mechanic in there. And it tells you when your prestige goes up and down, but I don't really know what that means too much. But even when you're wandering around in the overworld, like trying to catch Pokemon or explore, because it's a big island.
Do they know who you are?
They know who you are, and if you defeat them, you get prestige. If you lose, I'm not sure what happens. I almost lost because I was just wandering around looking for a Pokemon, and there was this bug catcher. And I'm like, oh, it's a bug catcher. My steel Pokemon is going to be no problem. But he was like, his Pokemon were like level 20, and mine were like level 10.
Oof.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be my first wipe. But somehow I got lucky, and I guess because I don't think Bug is weak against Rock, but he had a Butterfree and a Beedrill and the Yanma.
So they're flying.
Yeah.
Which is weak.
Which is weak against that with Rock. So my Aaron and Sableye were able to survive and take out his team, and they leveled up like 6 times each. So
holy shit.
That was a nice boost. I think it feels like the XP rates in this are boosted a bit, which is nice.
I would say so, because even with 10 levels above in the regular games, you're not getting 6 levels out of that.
It's just nice because I don't want to be grinding.
I mean, that's fair.
That's one of the things of the old games I just didn't like. So if the XP rates are boosted, that's great. There's no XP share, at least not natively, not automatic. Maybe there's the hold item. I haven't found it. It'd be great to find that because, yeah, I don't want to grind. And like having to have like Onyx in front and then switch out for something else is just kind of a pain. So
I suppose.
Anyway, so far it seems interesting. I mean, it's a fan game. There's definitely some issues that aren't amazing, but it's
like programming or
no, it's just silly little pet peeve things. Like some of the animations are like really good and some of the animations are really bad. Like for example, when a Pokemon uses wing attack, there's a cool little effect, or fury attack, there's a cool little effect. But if you use hypnosis or confusion, it just has like a little hit thing. It doesn't look good.
It's weird because like I figured, okay, maybe this will come down to what determines what counts as a ROM hack versus a fan game. But if they're already taken from Pokemon anyways, I mean, the Pokemon series has animations for things like hypnosis, right? Like,
yeah.
They just port that in?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I will tell you the difference.
Okay, cool.
So,
because I legitimately don't know.
This is not a ROM hack. This is a fan game. What that means is you don't need a ROM to play this. This is a native PC EXE.
Okay.
Built from the ground up. So yeah, you just download the game, run the EXE, and I don't know if they use RPG Maker or Game Maker or what, but it's a fan game made by a fan. So it's not a ROM hack. Okay,
so they're not taking any of the programming that was already in Pokemon games. They're just taking like the sprites and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Even some of the music sounds like it's remixed or something. So it's fun. I mean, as fun as a Pokemon game can be. I don't know if that's
would ROM
crazy
hacks
to say.
Technically count as a fan game?
It depends. If you're hacking,
yeah,
if you're changing a lot, then it could be. But a lot of the times, the ROM hacks are just like rebalances, and sometimes they'll add new story elements too. It depends. There's all sorts of ROM hacks. Some are just like, we want this game to be harder. Some are like, we want to add characters and change up the story a bit. It depends, but it's generally going to be very similar to the original game with changes, whereas a fan game is going to be way
Usually
different.
vastly different.
Yeah, like this is completely different than any other game. This island area is not in any of the previous games. The very concept of running your own gym, like,
yeah.
it's
Actually,
cool.
that's another thing. Like, okay, I know Nintendo and the Pokemon Company get upset because people are using their IPs, blah, blah, blah. But it would be nice, and I guess they have technically done some of this in the past, like with Pokemon Ranger, but coming up with different aspects of what to use Pokemon for. Like Pokemon Ranger, yeah, you're capturing them, but I don't think you necessarily fight them, right?
I don't remember. I never played that one. That's the one with the stylus, right? Where you draw
Yeah.
circles.
And in Pokemon Quest, you're befriending the Pokemon, and I guess, in a sense, feeding them at least once, whatever. But you're not capturing them, and you're not necessarily fighting them. You're sending them off into expeditions, but you could argue that it's like they're doing it on their own accord. And, like, even as a child, I always liked the idea, after watching the anime. There was that one fighting gym with, like, the Sandshrew, and it was, like, a gym. It was both a fighting gym, or unofficial fighting gym, but it was also just, like, a training gym, like, an actual, like, human gym that you go to and just, like, train on equipment and stuff. And I kind of like that idea. I think in later episodes there was one with, like, a beauty spa.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of that.
It's like the gyms were more than just a place to fight.
Well, not only that, but I think the beauty one also just... I'm not talking about Erica's gym, because I think in the anime, she made perfumes and stuff at that gym. But it was literally just a spa. So I like the idea of a spa for Pokemon. There's no fighting. Maybe Pokemon are also in there as, like, if you will, the customer service or something, or, like, a Blastoise in there and he's running the jets for the spa or something. Just something to do with Pokemon that isn't fighting.
It sounds very Pal World.
I don't like Pal World.
That's because you're, I don't know, prejudiced or something.
No, I mean, I tried it. It's just...
I think you need to try again someday.
Ugh.
Pal World is so cute with, like, you can do that. Like, you have a little place where, like, the Pokemon are doing other things.
I know, but...
They're relaxing. You can see them in the spas.
I mean, maybe with mods it would be different, but it seemed very basic. Like, there was a couple of beds, but maybe I don't want their bed to look like that. Maybe I want to give them an actual pet bed.
Yeah, that's because you were early on and you're still working with, like, garbage. Later on, you can make really good beds.
Yeah, I'll see what mods add, but...
One day I'm gonna make you play that with me. We'll co-op it and get you further than just, like, the first 10 minutes before you give up. But anyway, let me ask you this.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to play this game, this gym of mine, but I am curious, if you had to have a gym, what type would you pick?
I've thought about this vaguely before. I think this has come up in other podcasts that I've listened to that are about Pokemon. Shout out. I want to say probably grass, but my thing was to try and find grass Pokemon, like, what was his name, Ludicolo or something with, like, the
sombrero.
Duck, yeah, the sombrero duck Pokemon. He's grass, but he's also water.
Yeah.
And just different things so that they're not just pure grass, so that they can be taken out easily.
Yeah.
They have to have like a second type, and hopefully, it's a grass gym, so I guess I'll just take in a fire Pokemon and just blast through. Which I guess most people would be like, yeah, I'm going to have this one type, but I have to make up for it.
Exactly. That is kind of half the point of, like, figuring out your weaknesses and how to cover them.
So yeah, definitely grass. Yeah, kind of like, I think in Erica's gym in the first games, it would just be like a nice garden in there. So it's like, yeah, okay, I guess you're technically fighting in there, but it's going to be pretty. I like grass Pokemon. I like flowers. It's just going to be that thing. Although, I mean, I'd probably have to get an actual gardener in there because I don't have the greenest of thumbs. I'm okay with some, but...
Also, if Pokemon were real, they probably would help you.
I suppose so.
Unless, literally, you're taking care of Odyshes and they all die under your care.
Oh, God, those poor babies.
Anyway, the game is fun. If you ever want to try it, it's free, obviously.
Yeah, it has to be.
I don't know what happens later on, but there's definitely a story. There's definitely some hooligans causing trouble. one of the first things is like, oh, we're taking over this town now, and blah blah blah, whatever. Then he sees you and you're like, oh, gym leader, you're just like the other one, and you have to fight them off, whatever. And it's easy because it's the beginning of the game, but there's definitely more than just sitting in the gym all day.
I guess it depends on how far this fan game takes it, because yeah, like making the gym bigger than a shed would be nice, because I can just imagine if it was literally the size of a shed and then someone comes in with a whale lord and then just destroys it.
Actually, there was another thing too, though, that I didn't mention, but I know you get letters and like applications. There was an application in my mailbox for like, oh, I want to be a trainer in your gym. And because I didn't really know what I was doing yet, I'm like, oh, I'm going to hold off on hiring this person, but maybe I should just hire them just to see what happens.
Well, so, next time it pops up.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm really early on in this, so, but it's cool. Yeah.
It's weird. I've never really had the drive to attempt to play Pokemon fan games.
Well, me neither until now, but I've played ROM hacks before, but it's just that, like, I kind of like the idea of Pokemon. I just don't really like the Pokemon games anymore. It's just kind of stale.
I mean, that's fair. And then when they do try to add things, like, the Mega Evolutions, I think, were okay, although some of their descriptions terrified me. But the Max thing, they're like...
Yeah, I don't really like a lot of the gimmicks where, like, oh, now he's super giant, or oh, now he's a ice cube crystal things. Like,
And that only applies to certain ones, I think? I don't remember.
It's whatever. It's fine. Like, this is also why I really liked Power World, because it's like, it's Pokemon, except completely different.
I like the imagination of Pokemon and, like, fan art stuff. Because people have made, not only just for the area variants, but also just like, oh, I've seen seasonal ones, like, especially Bulbasaur or something. Like, you got spring, summer, fall, winter variants and stuff like that. I don't know. People come up with some damn good ideas.
There was that was stuff like that was as early as Ruby and Sapphire. I think there was like this bug Pokemon that's like, it's that bug that makes like what are they called? They hang from the trees.
Oh yeah, the bag bugs or something.
Bagworms? I don't know.
Bagworms, I think.
But like that one had seasonal variants.
Yeah, that was interesting because I didn't actually understand that bug type until we moved here. And they had the little infestation on the fence or something one time. Yeah,
we saw a bunch of them.
And I'm like, oh, that's what that's based on. That was interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll check out the game. I guess I'll see how far it goes. Because there was also the survival one, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that one works. But there's another one I want to try at some point, which is like you're controlling a character who actually has agency and a story of their own, and that could be interesting. But for now, I'm just going to play this one, see how long I can stay at it without getting too bored. Right now, it's fun enough, I guess.
And if they're fan games, maybe they don't take nearly as long as the mainline games.
Yeah, I just want to get a Steelix and a Scizor.
Oh yeah, you like that one too.
Those two are like, and Magnemite. I don't know. A Magnemite, I like Magnemite and Magneton. I don't like the final evolution that they added way later.
Yeah, you don't like the UFO catcher.
No, it's like, dude, come on. It's so cool. And like, it was so simple. 1 Magnemite, 3 Magnemites, 5 Magnemites. That should have been the final evolution.
Well, maybe you should design that.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll talk about that Pokemon game again later.
That's fair.
Why don't you tell me about the wild stuff you've been doing?
Well, mostly, again, it's the only game I've really been playing is the Pokemon Quest.
Yeah.
And it's mostly
hooked on
just
that mobile game.
Yeah, kinda. And it's weird because I'm getting to the point where, I have the thing about restarting games. And I'm like, well, what if I restarted this?
Oh, God.
And just tried to work from the beginning and just get, like, specifically the team of, like, Onyx or Golem or something. And just trying to breeze through. And as I breeze through, kind of save up more of the ingredients. But then I guess I don't know. Probably not.
There are certain games that are just not worth restarting. And I think mobile games like this, or like Genshin, for example, it's just too much stuff to collect and to feed into your characters to make it worth restarting.
I mean, yeah, probably. But that's just the thing I go through. So I'm trying to get past it.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get because they have like supposedly S tier or S plus tiers of Pokemons and their moves to try and get through this freaking happenstance island because I've only gotten like 3 stages in. I don't even know how long it goes for. I don't see the end of it. But I got a Hitmonlee, but I don't necessarily have the supposedly good move that they recommend for it. So then when I put on the Hitmonlee for my team, it seems my team has been doing way worse than using other Pokemon. So I don't know. I have to decide, do I want to try and actually go with their ideas? Do I go with my own ideas and see what works? But then I'm still not progressing further than the second stage, so it's just frustrating at this point.
It seems like this is like the end game grind where everything is just harder.
Pretty much.
And it's just going to be a lot of grinding to get what you want. I mean, even Genshin was like that. Like, once you reach a certain point, it's like, you got to pay attention to your teams and the builds and leveling up everything. And it's just like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So that's basically what I'm just grinding and just like hitting my head against the wall, basically.
Yeah, I figured, and granted, this is my fault too, so don't take it badly, but playing that co-op Rugrats game just to change the pace of things would be pretty good.
No, that's fair.
We'll have to do that this week for sure.
Yeah, we gotta set up a specific time or something.
Yeah, in the evening, I guess.
So, were you gonna ask me about the other thing?
Yeah, you were also trying something interesting last night. Another mobile game thing, but...
I played that even less than Pal World. Okay, so let me try to explain this, basically.
Yeah, from the start, like, very beginning, because there's an interesting reason why you were playing it.
Yeah, so I go to therapy, and my therapist said he had heard of this website where you can get paid for playing games. So I was thinking it was like kind of Q&A, but it seems that they're kind of throwing Q&A under the bus these days, or at least with the big studios, so it probably wasn't that. So he sent me the email, and I looked it up, and it's one of these websites where like, oh, you can take a 20-minute survey and get 15 cents. It's like, there's a lot more surveys than like Google Play gives you, but it's way longer and for seemingly way less. So in the game section, they're like, oh, you can earn like $200 playing Monopoly Go or something, right? And it's unfortunate because there was another game I had saw previously that was more like about solitaire. And I'm like, okay, I could play that. But when I loaded it up yesterday, I didn't see it available anymore. So I'm like, oh. So I'm like, well, I know I've played a different Monopoly mobile game, I believe. So I'm like, fine, I'll just throw this on. And yeah, technically you could earn $200 in, I don't know, say like 30 days or something.
That's crazy.
But the first milestone is like, oh, you have to get to board 27 in 10 days. And then you can get $20 for that. So I'm like, fine,
Why?
I don't know.
Like, what do they gain from this is what I'm trying to figure out. That's a lot of money.
It's not even, like, maybe information, but I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because, like, when you brought up the survey things, I've seen those online. We're like, oh, take the survey for, like, 10 minutes and we'll give you a quarter. Yeah. I figured it was going to be something like that. Like, play this game for a bit and you earn, like, 50 cents. Woo, whoop-de-doo. Yeah. But $20, that's a surprisingly not insignificant amount of money.
No, but I think the catch, at least with some of these games, is they put in the description, which didn't turn up in the solitaire description, which is why I wanted to try that more. They're like, oh, using microtransactions can get you through the boards faster. So maybe that's weird, part of it. I don't know. So I installed the Monopoly Go and I started quote unquote playing it. Because, and I say that, I put that in quotes because this game feels more like an idle game where it plays itself. Yeah. Yes, you can hit the button each time to roll the dice and move, but you can also just hold it down and it'll do it automatically, which is basically what I did.
There's a lot of mobile games that do that, to be fair.
Yeah, and I know I've said, like, Pokemon Quest, you can put them on auto, but you can also just literally play it yourself. Yeah. I don't know. In that sense, Pokemon Quest idle option doesn't bother me. Monopoly Go does bother me. So it's just a little piece going around, and every time it, steps on something, you get some money, and every time you get some money, it does the it's trying to give you a dopamine hit because
it's like Vampire Survivors where there's gems all over the screen.
Yeah, in this it's Monopoly money because obviously, and it's just fluttering and it's colorful and hey, you got money, blah blah blah. And then every time you land on the railroad, and this is where it gets into the weird social aspect, which I was playing as a guest. I did not connect it to my Facebook. You land on the railroad and, you can do a bank heist against someone, or you can topple their buildings or whatever they're building currently to try and get to other board games or some shit. And it's just kind of weird. It's uncomfortable. As I was playing as a guest, so maybe these are real people with their accounts. Maybe it was just bots. Maybe it was both. I don't know.
Random people faces.
Yeah, and it's just okay, it's an icon with a person, and I'm going against them, but it's just randomized. I'm not picking them out of a group. It's just weird. I don't know how to explain it. And then it does the mobile game thing where there's the icons all around the screen and they all have a notification thing, so you're tempted to tap it or whatever, but it's just if you want 90 more rolls of the die, pay us $10. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not fucking doing that.
I barely want to do it for free.
Yeah, really. And it's just for half hour, maybe an hour, I was quote unquote playing, and it was just basically playing itself. You tap a couple of things, and it's just, I understand they're trying to do this, and supposedly these are supposed to be dopamine hits for people. And it's just making me sad.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this. This is uncomfortable.
It's because, you can tell the game was designed to be kind of like a hook.
A money grab.
It's not designed to be fun. It's designed to hook into your desire for winning or prizes. It's weird.
Does this work? I'm just wondering, because, okay, fine. I know I suffer from depression, so maybe it's a little different for me versus a regular person, but I'm also wondering, does this work? I mean, it must, for people that play regular games, because I know they're trying to sneak this shit into regular games, but this is a mobile game. It's maybe casual people that play, I don't know, Scrabble or the Connect 3 type of games.
I don't know. I think it depends on, well, obviously it's going to depend on the person, but it also depends on the type of game you want and play. But there's also just the possibility that this is just not a very good version of a game like this, because we can think back to the games that started it all with Farmville. Farmville was very, very popular, and it did do that thing and where it's make sure to go click on your friend's face so you can go look at their crops and beg them to come play with you so that they can maybe pay us money.
And that's another thing. This game is connect to Facebook and invite your friends and all this stuff. And I'm I'm sorry, is it the early 2010s again? How is this still a thing? I'm not bugging my fucking family on Facebook for this shit.
I think it's just somebody got the license to make a Monopoly game and they just went for the lowest common denominator to make even just a little bit of money.
It's just, I don't know. Supposedly these are supposed to be dopamine hits, and it just does not work on me.
I would be curious to see how many times it's been downloaded and what the ratings are.
Probably too much. Do you want me to look it up right now?
I guess we can cut out dead air time.
Because it's just, I don't know. It's not fun, and I'm curious about anyone who plays that and actually has fun with it. Because I just can't imagine that, but
maybe they don't have fun with it.
Someone?
Maybe they just... some people just need a fidget spinner, and this is a digital fidget spinner to be oh, I'm at work, or I'm waiting for the train or something,
So this has a rating of 4.6.
Wow.
I would not even give it close to that. I'm giving it a 1 star.
Editor's Choice, sucks. 2 million reviews. Is that right?
Yeah. And that's just reviews. So, reviews are not, how many people have actually downloaded it. I'm not sure if it says.
Wow. That is a lot of reviews.
2.3 million reviews.
Read Jessica's review.
I love this game and have been playing for a while. A few things I'd love to see the creators fix. Blah, blah, blah.
Bug fix, okay. So somebody that actually does play in one thing wants it to be better.
Incredible, love it. I think I might have an idea to reply.
Weird.
Great graphics. I mean, yeah, okay, the graphics are fine, whatever. The mini games are fun. It's literally just tapping on 3 squares. I really enjoy this game. I'm literally incapable of understanding. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, if you enjoy this, the downloads, 15 million plus.
Wow.
And like, if you enjoy this, even if you spend money on this, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't have the capacity to understand why you would enjoy this.
Like I said, I think it's people who don't play other kinds of games. Like, I like a few mobile games, but this doesn't, it barely feels like a game. Like, I only watched you play it, but watching you play, you were barely doing anything. It was like autoplay, and then like the piece would go around the board, it would land on something. It didn't look like you had the option to buy or bid or anything. It just, everything happened automatically.
Yeah, so
it didn't feel like
needless to
Monopoly.
say, I'm not going to continue this. I'm just going to delete my account on, I don't know, maybe I'll take the like $1.50 I have on it, but I'm not playing those games. It's just not good.
Oh, so you're not going to try that site for other games?
No, because the other games are probably just as bad, if not worse.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of curious.
Like,
surely at least one of them is okay.
Even if the game itself is okay, I feel like the time it would take to get the $10, $20,
yeah,
I could just crochet something and maybe I'll make as much.
I think this is more for people who, they're not trying to like make huge money on this. They're like, I want to play a dumb game anyways, and sure, maybe I'll get some coffee money out of it.
No, I mean, like, I get that it's not supposed to be paying my rent. It's just like, hey, yeah, like you said, coffee money. But even for the time that you have to put in to get the coffee money, I feel like you'd still get it doing something else a lot faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So, I don't know. It's not comfortable. So that's my rant about mobile gaming, I guess.
Yeah, mobile gaming is an interesting space. There's so many weird little games like that that are just, I don't know if you would call that predatory.
Oh, that's definitely predatory, because it's like, oh, have this game play itself and then give us $10 so it can play itself for a little longer.
And yet so many people seem to enjoy that.
I don't know.
Then again, like, people call like Genshin predatory, and like,
but at least that's actually a game. It's not playing itself.
Yeah.
This is just bonkers.
I have played games that do kind of sometimes, well, play themselves in the sense that, yeah, there's like an auto button. But even then, like, I know that a lot of the mobile games will have that energy system, right? And then like combine that with auto. Sometimes they'll even be like, we'll just waste all your energy for you. All you have to do is press one button. And it's like, okay. But people like that kind of thing. Like, there's I forget the name of it, but you see a lot of ads for it. There's like auto playing RPG mobile game where it's like idle RPG or something, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's even on Steam they got those idle games.
People like that. I could not imagine playing that kind of things on my computer, but I guess it's, maybe there's a strategy to it. Like, okay, you guys go on your little adventures, fight all the monsters yourself. I'll handle equipment every so often, and maybe there's fun in that. But
yeah, again, like Pokemon Quest is kind of like that, but and I don't know if I have the capacity to explain the difference, but it just feels different.
Yeah.
And this one, Pokemon Quest is not shoving a bunch of notifications and buy this for $10, buy this for $5 and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what helps it for me.
I guess. I don't know, man.
But that was my adventure, and it lasted about an hour.
I will still say that I think my favorite mobile game of all time will always just be 80 Days.
Yeah, that was good.
80 Days was amazing.
God, when did we play that? Like freaking over a decade ago, I bet, right?
Yeah, it's pretty old. I think it's on PC now, too.
There was another mobile game in the olden days, I guess you could say, Plague Inc., which I have on Steam.
Yeah.
And, like, I haven't played it in ages, but when I did play it back in the day, it was pretty good. And then, COVID came around in 2020, and they actually sent an update, so I think COVID's actually in the game. I haven't tried it, but I heard it's there.
Wow. Interesting. I never played that game. I've not really. I don't know. Something about it doesn't really interest me too much, but I've heard good things about it.
And like the memes about it are funny too. So I guess Battle Cats was on the edge.
Yeah,
'Cause
Battle
it's
Cats.
Gacha.
Yeah, it's.
But it was cute.
It was cute and fun in its own way, but it does have that gotcha element towards like the late game where it's like, well, do you have the big old 5-star cats to get through these super hard levels?
Yeah, so that was like half and half.
It's really cute. It's really good the first like lap or two around the world because you're going to different countries and your cats are so weird in like the best ways. Like you start with just a little round cat and then you get the long legs cat, which has its legs are like, 5 feet tall. Then you get the sexy legs cat that has for some reason just human women legs and like garter belts. And it's just like all this goofy stuff. And like one of the monsters are good too because like they start as just being other animals like dogs and otters and stuff, but eventually gets really weird, like that one that's just a big human head with like
the Japanese head guy, I guess.
I don't know, it has a very unique art style, and like the cats are so fun. Like I remember one of the cats we got was like this flamenco cat that would just like dance.
I think I also remember one of my big pulls that I got lucky on was like a baby cat, but it was like stupid crazy powerful for some reason.
But then they also eventually got into the whole
cute girls.
Yeah, because again, like we discussed in the last last podcast, sex sells, and cats don't, I guess. So
But
eventually,
what about the sexy leg cat?
Eventually, they brought out like, oh, we're gonna team up with a Neon Genesis Evangelion. So here's your sexy plug suits, and here's this really cute anime girl. She's not a cat, but I don't know, maybe she's riding a big old monster mecha and there's a cat design on it or something. But don't worry, she's a really cute girl with some nice boobies or something. So yeah, it eventually falls into that kind of thing too. But if you can ignore that and just play like the first few stages before it gets crazy, it's still pretty fun.
And enjoy like the fan art, because that's another thing, because the designs are so bonkers, and just see what people have made of it.
Yeah, some of those it's just like...
Another good cat game, and I don't know if they've updated it with microtransactions or whatnot, but it was Neko Atsume.
Yeah.
That was cute. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was really cute. I don't know if I played that. I think I just watched you play it because it didn't seem like my kind of thing. What was the purpose? It
was just like putting out decorations and
cats would arrive.
Yeah, like certain decorations would attract certain cats.
Yeah. And there was one cat that everyone seemed to love with a big fat one.
Yeah, I think it started with an L, like... I don't know if it was Lumpy or...
Lard ass.
I mean, basically, yeah.
But yeah, everyone loved the big fat one.
He was cute. And they have, like, plushies and stuff of him, so we're used to.
That was a great idea for a game, so yeah, it's no surprise they did really well.
So there's always going to be gems in the heap of trash of mobile games.
Yeah, and ports, I guess, if you can handle playing mobile games. Like I can't even imagine, but some people do legit play Genshin Impact on their mobile phone.
Dude, I've seen kids playing on their phone, like first-person shooter shit.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it. They apparently seem to enjoy it. Maybe they're good at it. Maybe this is like, kids growing up with this technology, so they're getting good at it. But yeah.
Not only the controls, but like just the graphics.
The graphics, like, whatever. But it's just there's no tactile thing for me.
Well, for me, the graphics are kind of like, I mean, for a game like Genshin Impact, like, that game is beautiful on a PC. But then you see, like, sometimes you'll be on the Reddit and be like, oh, I'm playing Genshin and look at this funny thing that happened. Or what am I doing wrong with my characters? And they post, like, a screenshot and it's their mobile game and it looks like a PS1 game. It's just so weird.
I mean, I've seen people even screenshots of them playing Stardew Valley on their phone because there's a special, obviously, UI so that they can play it easier. And it's like, obviously, the graphics of Stardew Valley is not going to change.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine trying to move around on a very smooth screen.
Yeah,
I've tried things before like that, and I just can't. It's just not for me.
I actually... A little bit of a tangent, but I had a Game Boy emulator on my smartphone, and I wanted to play Dragon Quest 3. And Dragon Quest 3 is, it's an NES RPG. Well, this was a GBA version of that RPG, so you don't need super lightning reflexes. That you would just move around with the D-pad and like do turn-based combat, so it was fine. That was fun, and I got really far playing that version of Dragon Quest 3 on my phone. But then I remember at some point we were talking about some of your favorite Game Boy games, which were Kirby's Breakout, I think it's called. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, the one you didn't like.
And another one was like a pinball game. Was that also a Kirby game? I think they were both Kirby games.
Yeah, I think Kirby had both.
Oh, Pocket Bomberman.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That one is an action game. And playing that on my phone, even though it's the same control scheme as Dragon Quest was, it was intolerable. I did not like playing it that way. There's something about playing on the phone with... It's
just flat. There's no feeling to it. Sometimes even like as best as I try to program it, it's just gonna goof up sometimes. And also getting back to things like Genshin or I don't know if it's Call of Duty or Fortnite. I guess Fortnite's on mobile, right?
I have no idea.
Some shooty games. Even if the graphics are okay, I can't imagine going through your battery like that. Even just playing that hour of that Monopoly Go destroyed my battery. I guess I have old phone. Fine. Maybe it works better if you got some fancy iPhone shit. But no thank you.
Yeah, wild.
So I guess that's our discussion of mobile game fiasco stuff and some
little bit of Pokemon.
Yeah, a little Pokemon.
I'll keep playing that Pokemon.
Yeah, we'll see. And maybe this week we'll actually get to the
Rugrats game, yeah. We have it installed, we just haven't played it because we are dumb and bad.
No, we're not dumb. I was just doing other things. I want to do crafting stuff.
I know.
It's tough.
You're good. You're so good. Oh, I don't want to do art. I'm like, I should be doing my art, and then I just want to like bury my hand in the sand and just never think about art.
Poor you.
Well, on that wonderful, silly note, I guess we should call it a day.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week and life.
And thank you for listening.
And thank you for being in this podcast with me.
Weirdo. We love you. Bye.